In today's video, I'll be starting with the 50 USD account and spinning it to over 600 USD. So stay tuned to learn how you can flip your own account as well. Let's get this video to over 200 likes. Now, like usual, we start off the analysis on a higher time frame, which is the weekly chart, and we see a wipe. That's the first thing we notice, a wipe above that high, and in IC terms we calls it a turtle soup. So it grabbed liquidity above that high and immediately ran back into the range, and then price right now is respecting the weekly bearish order block. So now the reason why it's respecting that weekly bearish order block is on the daily we see it built momentum towards the wipe. So it broke structure above that high, and then it went and sort of raided or broke structure above another high to the total soup. So that's the first change of character that we see, and then we get to see that price kept on going down to form a major change of character or a BOS below that low. So after that, it grabbed liquidity below the low, went back into the range, and of course, because price is sort of returning back into the range and it did a sort of soup, gave us a change of character, we want to continue selling with it. So you could have sold at the daily breaker block, but yeah, I know it's a big time frame, but price respected the daily breaker block because it's in line with the weekly bearish order block. So right from the breaker block, we can see price kept on dipping down, slowly building momentum till it broke structure below that low. And the way it broke structure, you can tell there was sort of a powerful movement down, and now price went back to fair in liquidity because it had a huge sell momentum there. So it filled the fair value gap right there, while at the same time it hit the weekly mitigation block. So what we expect price to do is to continue dipping down. So that's our bias, we want to sell. Now on the 4 hour, what you see is price broke structure and then it was headed for the mitigation block on the 4 hours. So that mitigation is also in line with the weekly mitigation block after it filled the daily imbalance. I think you guys saw that. So now what we want to see is price forming structure so that we sell. So it respected that 4 hour bearish order block and then it went down sort of, but it respected the 4 hour bullish order block. So it was squeezed in between the 4 hour order block, like the bearish one, and the bullish order block. So now we want price to just release the pressure and continue dipping downwards. So when it went back, it did a stop hunt above that high, and above that high you can tell there's a small fair value gap. That's the 1 hour fair value gap, and if we actually zoom out or go on a high time frame, we can get to see that there's also a 4 hour fair value gap. So price completely rebalanced the 5 value gaps, consolidated a bit, and then it continued dropping down. Yes, it missed the 1 hour bearish order block, but yeah, we know that price rebalanced and then dropped down. So I forgot to mark out the small wipe it did, but it wiped and then it broke structure on that mini low right there, small time low, and then it continued dipping down to break structure below the higher time frame low. So of course right now the aim was for price to reach for the equal lows, but you can get to see that price did not actually dip down to the sell side liquidity. It hasn't touched the sell side liquidity below the equal lows. So what it did is it returned back into the range, and now we want to try to capture the sell into the imbalance. So you see that's sort of my plan on the 4 hour. That's usually price has to dip down into the imbalance and then hit the mitigation block. If it wants to continue shooting up, it goes up. If it wants to sell, it continues selling. So that's what I want to do, sell into the imbalance. So price went back and filled the fair value gap within the range, and above the fair value gap, of course, there's the 4 hour order block, and we want to sort of sell within this 4 hour order block. And if we look deeper into the 4 hour order block, we also get to see that not deeper, but on a high time frame, there's a daily rejection block, and that's where we want to be selling our yeah, that's where we want to be selling. And I forgot to mark it out, but there's a sort of a wipe that's going to happen above sort of a mini high right there. It's going to sell into the expansion that it created because when price expands, it created sort of an imbalance, so it has to also fill the expansion and then dip down into the imbalance it created down below. So I started placing my sell limit orders above a small high. I did not highlight it. I can't highlight stuff I can't show a lot of stuff on the phone, so it's sort of hard for me to have shown you guys the high, but I think I could have. I just placed it above the high because price has to go up that high, wipe, and then start dropping down immediately afterwards. So I was placing my sell limits here, and I completely pegged the account, went in aggressive, of course, like I usually do, and you have to see what happens afterwards. So this is afterwards. You can tell price, yeah, it wiped the small high, respected the daily rejection block, and it started dropping down. It had to continue dropping down, but because of target reason, I reached my target. I started filming and I was preparing to close my orders. So what I thought was price had to sort of react off of the 15-minute breaker block right there, bullish breaker block, or the 1 hour OB, and then return back up, and we'll continue selling with it. So that's what I had in mind, not only because I clocked my target, but because I also just wanted to maybe capitalize from a return, and then we continue selling down with it. It was a clean trade. I liked it. So from crash 500 we move on to jump 100 index. Okay.